live stream wasn't good last time, so I might as well bring it up here. On this one, I tested out the character creator Autosetup, and it's just a little test from Peter. Let me bring it up here, and I'll put it in the chat below. Overall, I think that, wow, people are really, oh dear, oh my. People are kind of getting impatient. Anyway, yeah, I'll give you a link to it. It's still in beta. So let's actually just kind of quickly go into this page. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Yeah. So I'll give you a link down below for anybody who wants to test it. I would wait and see. It's not. Don't do any final projects with it per se. I think there's a couple of things I do want to bring up. Number one, I think it's gotten a lot better in some ways. Of course, there's some bugs that are still relevant. Like one of them is known as, they still have the inner roughness thing, the inner lip roughness. It's like 0.575. That's why the characters' heads glow or have that really shiny effect that you kind of see a lot. It should be 0.0575. And also, I think the cellular is a little too, I think the settings are not right. I would put it at 0.8 to 0.9 in your cellular brightness. So I'll just actually, let's go to content browser. I'll show you what I mean. So this is Harley. A couple of things though, there used to be a problem called cast ray tracing shadows. It used to be a major problem and it caused quite a headache. It's not there anymore, which is good. When I saw that, I realized, holy shit, it's actually a lot better than it used to be. Sorry, but I had that reaction. I was like freaking out when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, it's so much easier. A lot of the smaller bugs still remain. And also there's one particular one that I want to bring up. So this is kind of a common bug that you see. They actually changed the name. I was trying to find it because I kept on saying render after DOF, render after DOF. And so it's usually found, like, especially if you're doing anything with a lot of depth of field, you'll kind of notice like this weird effect, like the eyes are like really weird. You for those who ran into that bug know what I'm talking about exactly. I already fixed it with her, so there's a way of fixing it. So if you see like it's like really like if everything is out of focus and those like little air circles, like because the eyes completely go crazy, you'll know what I mean. It's like real, it stands out. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Here's how to fix it. So you go to eye occlusion, and this one normally I just left the eye occlusion alone. It works perfectly fine in Unreal 5. So it's under translucent. And I was trying to find it for a while, and it was just bugging me. So I looked up render. Actually, no, let's see, what was it? DOF? Okay, it's called translucency pass. It used to be called render after DOF. So you do it before the DOF. You want to make sure that anything translucent is before DOF. You always want to make sure it's before DOF. If it's after, it's going to cause a lot of issues. Keep that in mind. A couple other things I've noticed with character. Obviously, soft cloth is a little bit better than it used to be. However, you still got to fix it, so you got to go through activate cloth paint and then it's the same thing, same principles still apply. I actually do want to thank, a couple of people have pointed this out. I gotta fix her costume quite a bit. It's kind of a mess. The corneas, like I said, the cellular brightness needs to be at point. It's always down here. I put it at 0.9, but you can anywhere between 0.8 and 0.9 is fine. It kind of depends. You don't want to go too much. And basically, like I said, I gotta fix soft cloth. I also probably gotta fix a couple of things. I'm probably gonna have to bring in the character again. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's just to test everything out. But so far, it's actually a lot easier than it used to be in 4. A couple of differences is the animation. When it comes to retargeting, I'm still working on that. I'm kind of working on a system right now to bring in characters from, like, to bring, how to kind of bring in animations. I think I found a system, and it's a lot easier to do because to transfer motions, you have to make like an IK rig, an IK K configuration. It's kind of a mess, and it's really annoying. But there's a much easier way of doing it. I'll have to make a video. I have to test it out a couple more times before confirming it. So, basically, this is what the character looks like in the end. I think there's quite a lot of improvement. I actually like Lumen. So, to get this effect here, I used a camera here. And actually, this is a camera you can get at the marketplace, which actually, let me go link it up here for you. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you want to do action scenes with light widescreen. So let me just go into marketplace, and I'm going to just kind of bring this up. It's called Anamorphic Lens DOF. And what it does is it kind of creates like this anamorphic lens effect, and it's pretty good. I think there used to be an old way in Unreal, but it was just kind of really complicated. You have to make like post-process volumes. I've done it before. It was just too much trouble than it's worth here. So I'll show you. So what anamorphic is, you see how those you see this in Hollywood movies here. So it's like the little ovals here instead of circles, what you normally see like in iClone films or somebody who tries to do widescreen. It's like it doesn't have this effect. And a few people in Reolution have asked for anamorphic lenses. So let me bring up a little, let me give you the link for anamorphic lenses, where to get it. Heavily worth the price, I think. It's a great tool, and I've been using it quite a bit. Kind of works like a regular Cinecamera. You go in, and you basically make your adjustments. It's at 2.4. I used 50mm prime, and my aperture is at 2.8. And then a couple of things you want to do if you want to learn how to get this really nice glowing effect for those who are completely new to Unreal is that you want to go into your camera and make adjustments in your post-process volume. You can either make a post-process volume or you can do it in camera. It's up to you. I just do it in camera, So the first thing you need to do is you need to set your bloom. I just kind of played around with it to see what works. A few other things I've done is I've actually set up my auto, when it comes to exposure, I did it manually. And then I actually turned down the lens flares because I think it's a little too powerful. So if I just go back to 1, it kind of looks like this, and it gets a little too distracting. So I like to turn it down by 95%. So I kind of work on image effects. I've done, I kind of made adjustments to my rendering, to my ray tracing, a couple other things. Film, kind of adjust the film a little bit. This is like stuff I normally do in Unreal 4. It's very similar to Unreal 5. Some of the user interface is different, but it's pretty much all the same if you haven't made a film in 4 yet. If you made a film in 4, it's pretty similar in 5. There's pretty much everything's laid out. Just a couple of things like Lumen is different. Lumen, actually it's really nice, so it'll get better as time goes on. Movie render queue, so I'll render something in the movie render queue. So, similar, like I said, similar to 5, similar to 4. So everything's in 32-bit. I added console variables, my output, and EXR 16. EXR is, I actually did change it to 32-bit. Fairly same as before. You can make camera shakes. You can do a couple of things. I might add a camera shake here. Overall, I think it's just, same old, same old. I mean, if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you everybody for 500 subscribers. It's really awesome. Anyone has any questions with Unreal Production? Tomorrow I'll probably be, or probably Wednesday or so. That's when I'm going to start actually working with more animation skills. I'm kind of going through the retargeting process, bringing motions in, kind of fixing characters, kind of doing a character import if anyone needs to know. Now keep in mind this is a beta, so Reallusion will be releasing the final version for 5 soon. I'll be installing that. I would not install beta plugins into your final projects for obvious reasons. It's just that something could go wrong. But this is just a test. And you can tell the results are pretty good. Lighting system. Maybe I should bring up lighting. iClone and lighting is, like I said, my thoughts of it are pretty well known. I think iClone, it kind of holds your hand when it comes to lighting. Unreal doesn't do that. Unreal is not a very friendly system when it comes to lighting compared to iClone. There's quite a bit of planning to do, and you can tell this looks good. Like the lighting system, like what I have, like this comes from, like I kind of started applying more of my live action skills to lighting into Unreal than iClone. I don't know why. Maybe it's just that it just never looks good in iClone. Maybe I struggle with it too much. If you ever see me light an iClone, it can be kind of a frustrating experience. In Unreal, it's not. It's actually kind of fun. I enjoy lighting in Unreal. So let me just go and quickly show you. So let me just unlock this camera viewport. And I don't think it's piloted. Okay. Pretty simple. I used Lumen here for the lights. So I basically created a glow map or a glow material for both of these neon lights that I created in Blender. Pretty simple. Neon lights are easy to do. You just draw your shape, and then what I normally do is I extrude it and then basically make an outline and extrude it. It's fairly simple. Yeah, I can tell that you can tell what the bloom effect is. So if I lock it in, this camera has bloom settings compared to not, but it still gives off light. I can show you quickly by making a little. I'm gonna make a basic shape and just bring it in. It's not that. I'll show you. It's pretty cool. So if we get a basic shape in, weird thing is that just like some of the it just seems a little weird when I don't know, something's off here. And first I'm just gonna turn off the decal. Okay. So let's just apply one of the materials here. So this is a basic glow effect here. So it's called lamp glow. Very simple to do. Basically it's just one diffuse lights. I created a constant, I'll multiply. Easy to do. One of the easiest things you can make is a glow map. It's all you need to press 1 and click, and that's your variable. M and click, and that's your multiply. And 3 click, that's your color. And then you just combine the two. You make sure the power here. So you right click and convert that to a parameter. So when you change it in your sequencer, that's what a parameter is for. Very simple to do. I've done it before in the last video. So if we just apply, no, I'm not going to make any changes there. So if I just apply the lamp glow, you can tell it just lights up the whole scene. Okay, so lighting is simple. Lighting is pretty simple. Let's just go back here to our animation. And you have to start thinking like a lighting. Like, how are you going to tell a story through light? So let's just go back to the level sequencer. And basically my camera's here. I have a key. And I have 2 backlights here. One red, one blue. To reflect the light, just to kind of show off the light. I always think of light sources. I also have a fill on top here. For the lamp lights here. So combining these 3, and that's how I get my light for my character. It takes quite a bit of thought and some process, and keep this in mind. if you're not used to lighting an iClone, I would start reading up. There's a couple of books I recommend on lighting. One of them is it's a guy who paints dinosaurs for a living, and let me go find the book here. I'm trying. Let me find out here. What is it? The book is. It's a guy who paints dinosaurs for a living. Okay, yeah, that's the one here. I'm going to show you here. This is one that I would strongly recommend. Oh, damn. Here, I'm going to have to find out how I can share this. How can I share a link? Come on. Oh, no. It's called Color and Light by James Gurney. A guide for the realist painter. Fairly simple. Easy to walk through. He kind of explains direct sunlight, golden hour, that kind of thing. Just kind of get an idea how to work with that. And not only that, but how to tell a story with lighting. Like I said, I use two backlights. There's two backlights. They're pretty strong to resemble this, the neon light. Like that, but it also tells a story. It kind of contrasts with one another. I had a key light in front, and then I added a top light. You can tell the backlight kind of creates this red here and this blue here. It kind of contrasts. It clashes. It kind of works. I was kind of thinking with color, playing around since I was working with 32-bit color and HDR. It looks phenomenal when I was rendering an HDR video, by the way. That's the kind of thing, and iClone doesn't have that. I think there's a majority of people who just rely on the default lighting. And you should if you are one of those people who rely on default, get off of it. It's time, you got to wean yourself off of that. Because it's not a good crutch to rely on. It's terrible. The default lighting in iClone is not going to help you in real life. Like I said, I would look into, let me go find a better one. Color light. Here, give you a smaller, there, I found a shorter link. Kind of study paint, study light. Kind of look at this. Just pay attention how colors react. Color has a huge effect on the audience's perspective, storytelling wise. It kind of creates this effect. Red, blue, yeah. In fact, let me just go through. There's a great diagram that I strongly recommend. So let's go through it. Because if you're just filming in white and you're not using color to your best effect, you're going to have a real bad time in your storytelling. And Unreal is going to kick you. It's going to smack you. It's going to kick you if you're not using it. I've seen music videos, people making videos using the live link. They should have just kept it in the iClone because it looks better. That kind of effect here. Come on. Look at this. This is much different than iClone. And it just takes a little bit of knowing how to light, knowing what works, what doesn't. And it takes a lot of experimenting and just kind of studying what works, what effect it has. But you gotta admit, this is... I'm probably going to rename my stream afterwards, lighting, coloring... So let's just go see if I can find this. There's a great diagram I saw. I'm going to try finding it here. Oh, here it is. This is perfect. So let me just kind of carefully go through this for you. And I'll give you a link to follow on. It kind of has an effect on the mind. Keep in mind, they used to paint prisons pink because it calmed people down. So here's a couple of things to look through. What effect does it have? Red is often with passion, violence. Pink is much like I said, pink does calm people down. Orange is more warmth. Yellow is kind of interesting, you know. It's just kind of using the colors. So I use red and blue a lot for Harley. It kind of clashes a lot, so it kind of matches her nature. Red for the heart, obviously. Red and blue, why I put the colors in is no coincidence. It's just blue is much more, you know, for the skull, and red for the heart. You can make up your mind. And purple, obviously, I kind of went with this. You can take a guess at purple. How does your scene look with path tracing? I actually haven't done path tracing yet. This is just normal. You know, actually, let me go see. Maybe this will crash my system. We'll find out. I haven't done path tracing, honestly. I haven't really taken into consideration. Actually, yeah, let's find out. Oops. That would be under rendering features. I didn't click on the camera. I don't know. Maybe I should actually render it with path tracing. I haven't experimented with it too much, honestly. So. Well. Alright. Well, actually, let me, just for the sake of not burning my computer down to the ground. Let's just bring it in. This is just my test here. Yeah, let's just burn my computer down. I think you have to change to lit and change to path tracing. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's try. Sorry. This is still new to me. This is gonna break my computer, isn't it? Ooh. Not too bad. Look, a little bright, I think. Alright, well, let's just reduce the... Well, let's just reduce a couple things. First of all, let's just change the light here. Let's go with 20. Yeah, I'm not used to path tracing. I don't do as much, but intensity. Yeah, I think the intensity works fine. Yeah, let's change it to my camera. Interesting idea. Doesn't Reduce samples for pixels so it doesn't take too long. Yeah, sure. Whoops, sorry. Yeah, you can easily tell like the little, like the anamorphic lenses here, lens effect here. Oh, I'll have to play around with path tracing a little more. I'll use that as a final. I'll definitely make a short film with it somewhere. Oh, let's go with lit. And I'll probably just change my lights back. Interesting. Anyway, let's see. Let's just turn it to 25. What was it, 30? Let's go with 30. Yeah, probably rendered out. I'll have to experiment. I can't render it since I have a 2080 on this thing, and it's just gonna crash. But I'll try it out. I'll definitely look into like rendering and path tracing. Because I've done a render. Actually, I have a final render here of Harley.
Oh, you can tell me. After all, I'm a doctor. Well,
so yeah, basically, that'll kind of work here. Kind of adjusted a little bit, color correction, a little bit, not too much. Yeah, I'll have to experiment with path tracing. Like I might have an idea, a few of them. Right now, I just want to see how the character works in Unreal 5 compared to Unreal 4. Some shading, like some shading improvements, but still just retargeting itself is a little bit of a hassle. But overall, I'm impressed with how Unreal 5 is working out. I think iClone 8 and Character Creator 4 and Unreal 5 will make pretty good dancing partners together. I don't really plan on using metahumans. I'm just not a big fan of them, honestly. I think I know that there's kind of a comparison between the two. I just prefer Character Creator models because I get to customize them a little more. There's a little more costumes and things to play around with. Plus, I think it's just me, but I think there's a certain feeling with character creators. It's a little more cartoonish, I think. That kind of works well with Unreal. I think it works, just the two together work better. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, everything's still the same. I think hair's gotten a lot better. Yeah, I'll have to render Harley out when I kind of do more animations with it. Have you played with iClone to the Omniverse yet? I tried out Omniverse. I'm just more comfortable with Unreal. I heard people like it a lot. Like, I've heard good things about it. And from I tried out, it's not too bad. But I don't know. I just prefer Unreal because there's a lot more opportunities. Yeah, there's just a lot to work with. There's new plugins. There's more content for me to use. Used it a little bit, but I can't say I'm an expert on it. Or can't, like, nothing that I was just kind of doing like little demonstrations. I think it's pretty neat, and I can see a lot of great potential with it. But it depends on who. I think Benny D is probably the person to look to if you want to look at Omniverse content. Overall, I'm just more Unreal. I've seen people work with Blender. Now there's more support. We'll see what happens down the line. I think there's going to be a lot more exciting things once iClone 8 comes out. Because there's a pipeline, obviously. It's only pipeline. It just gives people the opportunity to go and expand and try something new. I mean, this thing, like I said, this set did not cost me a single dime. This was made with Megascans assets. I created this little glow effect. Yeah, thank you. A lot of it, like the scene here is just mostly just, I think the lighting just sells it. I'll have to like play around with path tracing and see how that looks, but no, when I rendered this scene out, it looked quite impressive because I'm using, like I said, I'm just kind of using the movie render queue. I'm using 32-bit EXR, and I'm kind of paying attention to the lighting, and that's really the thing. Like what separates a really good scene from a bad looking scene. It doesn't matter what tools you use or what kind of rendering engine. It could be iRay. You could still, if you can't light an iRay, or if you can't, I mean, that's kind of a struggle why people kind of struggle with iRay or any kind of offline renderer. Is just, I think iClone just holds your hand in a lot of stuff. And you can tell, like, when people kind of go outside and when they don't have, when they rely on the default lighting too much, it's kind of it's a bad influence, I guess. That's why I kind of suggested those books up there and how color affects it. I think if you ever filmed even like a 3D scene, if you know how to light pretty well, you'll be on good terms. But if you can't light, or if you don't have any knowledge of lighting, then honestly, this is going to be quite intimidating. Unreal or Omniverse or Blender isn't going to be kind to you. It's not going to take it easy. iClone has a fairly basic default lighting. For God's sakes, I wish people would change the default lighting in outdoor scenes. It just doesn't look good, you know. But yeah, for her, pretty simple. 2 backlights, 1 key light, 1 a light for the lamp on top. Fairly simple. I kind of did something with Poison Ivy, where I used a backlight, a fill light, and key light. A strong backlight, and then the key light is kind of like a reflector. Like, it's the old Robert Richardson style. This one is just more of... I kind of had an idea of what to work with, and I played around with it. Like, I was planning to have 2 strong backlights at 45-degree angles. And then I have a key just to fill in, just a normal yellow key light. And I think it works out pretty well. I'll have more of this scene later on. I have an idea, like, to play around with it. I think her monologue is going to be very disjointed. And not only that, but there's a little effect I want to do, and this one I'm going to have to go into my camera. I'm going to play around with the shutter speed in my camera. So if we go down here, would like more tutorials on lighting. I'm not really good at lighting unless I have I can't teach it very well unless I have a lighting kit in my hands. Like, I have to shine a light, kind of explain. Well, actually, you know what? Let me go see if we can actually. Let me just show off the lighting here. Maybe we can actually get this started here. I'll show you how I lit Harley. And let's go find the lamp here. Let's just turn that off. Even then, though, that's pretty decent. So, red and blue, obviously, red for the heart, blue here. This is just lumen. And making, like I said, making a glow material in Unreal is pretty easy. It takes 30 seconds to do. I've kind of demonstrated it a couple times. Here, I'll just open it up here if anyone hasn't seen it. I'll kind of go through it because it's kind of a common one. Even when I was struggling at the beginning, I was wondering how to make one. So this is basically my how to make a glow map. You can copy paste it or you kind of screen cap it. Basically, you just press 3 and left click, press 1 to create your constant, right click to convert to parameter for your timeline. It works pretty well if you want to make it like kind of flicker on and off. And then your multiply is to kind of combine the two together, show you how much power it has, and then send it to emissive color, and then that to base. Fairly simple. So yeah, that's going to be one. I got asked about emission lights a few times before. Easy to do, very easy. Especially now with Lumen, you can finally see without baking the light. So we'll just go back to Harley. She has one red, one blue. So the first thing I did was I created a lamp. And the lamp here, there's a little lamp here with the light. So if I turn on this light here, it kind of creates this little bluish, it's kind of a blue fluorescent light. A little bit, but it just doesn't provide, it doesn't provide as much life. I don't know, I just don't think it works pretty well. The second thing I've done is, so let's just go down here. So I added a basic key light. For those who are not familiar with lighting, there are three main lights like 3 lights you should know: back, key, fill. Fill is kind of there's a high key lighting setup and a low key lighting setup. High key lighting is much like this is more of a high key. So high key setup, your character, like you just think of your news program. Like when you watch the local news, or if you watch cable news or any major source of news network, whatever you want to, they kind of focus on a high key lighting setup. It's just everything's kind of has this really flat look. Low key lighting is more of a film noir thing, and it kind of depends on how your key and your fill are set up. So if it's kind of evenly matched, there's not as much shadow. So this is more of a high key setup. So I have a strong key light. But then I add 2 strong backlights here. One red and one blue. So it kind of gives it a little more life, and not only that, but it kind of brings the character to life a little more. You want your character to stand out. And sometimes you need to have the character a couple stops above everybody else to make it stand out. It depends on if you want to make them blend in the crowd, or if you want them to stand out, if you want them to have this really kind of halo angel light, have a strong key light. I kind of work with it more. I do it more with Unreal than iClone because I think Unreal has better backlighting. That's just me. So yeah, that's pretty much my results. I have 2 strong two backlights here, and my key light is right in front here. I usually work with rectangular lights. Sometimes I'll do spotlights, but most of the time I just do rectangular. It kind of depends. You can go back and forth. I do spotlights once in a while if I need to like highlight. If I have like lamps or like little wall lamps or something, then I'll use a spotlight or a point light to fill. But really, that's my Really, that's my character. Looks like nice and stuff. I think I struggle more with outdoor lighting with hard shadows. Then I would do. Then normally, like I would do like something a diffuse light. So when I have outdoor scenes, like I would actually add maybe like a spotlight, just as a fill, so there's not so much harsh shadows. So yeah, I would add a spotlight. So when you have like a directional light, I would add like a directional light. Then I would add like a fill light, like a 45 degrees away. So if you have directional light shine here, then I would add a fill, just something to add, just kind of fill in the harsh shadows. That's what fill lighting will do for you. and it doesn't have to be as harsh as sunlight. It can, I mean, normally we would just have like a little reflector or something to reflect the light back, but I mean, that's what I normally do with like outdoor stuff. I usually add like maybe sometimes I would add like a little rectangular light, or I would add a spotlight. I wish there has to be like a lot of lighting tutorials, or kind of see how the pros do it. Robert Richardson has an interesting way of lighting. There's a great tutorial actually that covers lighting. Well, let's go see. Let me go find a great idea for lighting outdoors. There's a director that does it pretty well. Yeah, they mostly just do reflectors. So I would kind of bounce the light back in. Is there such thing as diffusers in 3D? I don't really know, to be honest with you. What I do is I kind of fake it. So I would like for the Robert Richardson style lighting. Actually, let me go back and let me go exit out of this for a second. And here, I'll just find the book here. Like when I did the Robert Richardson style of lighting, like usually it kind of bounces the light or diffuses. I kind of added a little soft fill instead to cheat. It probably was way off and probably didn't accomplish my goal, but I don't know if there's maybe you'll see it, or maybe you can just put like a glow box or something. I don't really know. I don't know if there's a diffuse option in 3D. It's a good question. I haven't played around with that. I just mostly kind of play around with spotlights, and I just add little fills, but that's something I should look into. Maybe, I don't know, that's really tough. I'd probably do like a little point light or something. I could do not that, but I also could yeah, I could do like volumetric light. I don't know if volumetric, no, I won't do as good. I don't know, I'll probably play around with that. But yeah, there's this I'll have to find, let me go quickly. Let me go save Harley just in case, and I'll go through an old lighting thing in version 4. Let me quickly just go through and show you what I've done for Poison Ivy. So we'll go through here. I'll go through 4 and here she is. You can bring down the exposure on the actor without bringing down the entire environment. Yeah, also there's a fun little thing too. In the camera settings, you can actually manually adjust your exposure. So you can adjust f-stop. I mean, you can adjust your ISO, and it kind of works like if you increase your f-stop, you're going to have to bring in more, you know that little rule. So if you increase the little things, and you can make adjustments and slide, it's pretty cool. I work with it. I usually just set my own manual stuff. I don't like relying on auto setup. I kind of set my own shutter speed. I set my ISO. I do it inside Unreal. So this is Ivy. Ivy has kind of an interesting, yeah, this little diffuse thing. Funny enough, I added a volumetric fog. So I have one harsh backlight, and then I have another, and basically I have this as a fill light, as like just a bounce, to give the idea that it's bouncing back. So if I have a level sequence here, now she appears to be overexposed, but when I lock the camera, just because I kind of set my camera in a certain way. And I can make adjustments here. Kind of interesting. So yeah, there's a little fill for the back. A strong, harsh. This was me just replicating the Robert Richardson style, because I'll kind of go through it. How my process was. I wanted to kind of like, there's an idea that light was shining down from the door or something like high up, and this little thing was like, I had the same thing as the same color basically. I had to kind of give the idea it was bouncing light back, and that's how I kind of got this effect here. So that's Ivy here. It's just these little effects here, and not only that, but you're gonna see a lot more when I work in Unreal 5, or when I work in, like, when iClone 8 comes out, and I have a major production right now that I kind of held off because of, well, the first thing is because I don't want to reveal it just yet. I think that I want it to be kind of mind-blowing, I guess. I want it to kind of set like a really good standard when it comes to iClone and Unreal production. I want it, and not only that, but iClone and whole, there's a certain standard that I expect, and I just didn't get it with iClone 7 or Unreal 4. And a major thing is that the film is cyberpunk. So I needed neon lights, I needed exposure. There's a lot of color, and I kind of struggled with it with 4. And not only that, but some of the animation, some of the character design, I'm not particularly too happy with. So it just didn't meet my standards. So I just decided to wait for 5 and iClone 8 and Character Creator 4 to arrive. And basically, it's going to be filmed like this. There's going to be a lot more color, a lot more to work with. I think, yeah, this is kind of the same lighting you're going to expect. I think I'm going to do a lot more with color. I know I used to be kind of a monotone filmmaker. You can go back and see my work. I like filming in black and white, but now with Unreal 5, I think I can do a lot more. I can get a little more creative. I think this next production of mine is going to use a lot of blues, yellows, or purples. Just, it kind of depends the scene, I think. In fact, I'll show you what I think I have it around somewhere. Let's load it up. Yeah, I'm going to load it up. I'm going to give you a brief glimpse of what it looks like. So I'm going to open up 2 scenes. I haven't really done much work on it yet. I've been playing around with Harley Quinn animation, but I was kind of playing around with. Yep, I do have the anamorphic camera. Please, if you haven't gotten it, if you want to work with anamorphic lenses, get it. It's worth the price. I attached a link above if you want to get it. I also did attach the beta for the live link and the auto setup. I don't use the live link at all, but yeah, I just don't. it works pretty decent, but I'm not going to put it on this final project. So where's my set? Yeah, here it is. Hallway. So there's kind of a heavy blue here. Once I have more detail in the lighting, so I'm gonna add more lighting here. Kind of make it more of a sharp blue. Here, this is lumen. So stuff like this. Once I add more detail in my set, and then that's when I'm starting to light it more. Is there a difference between Autosetup and Live Link? I think there's latency issues with Live Link. I think Live Link is good for quick productions or previs. I've seen people get good animations. I just struggle with it. That's why I don't like using Live Link. I've always had bugs with it, or there's lagging issues. Not only that, but also a major thing, it's a little bit slower to use Autosetup. But once I have a main character installed and fixed and all the shaders, which actually thanks to Unreal 5 and their CC setup, it's a lot faster now than it was in 4. So it helps speed it up a bit, but the retargeting thing is a little different. I gotta get used to it. But the main thing is, what gets me is that there's a lot more organization. I don't have to go through like the setup here. I have a system where I basically block and animate in iClone. And then what I do next is I pretty much have my scene set up. I build around it, and I use collision dummies to work with. So iClone basically is my blocking and animation tool. So once I have that set up, I will block and animate in iClone, and then I will bring it into Unreal. There I will pretty much get the lighting, my camera work. I kind of have an idea what to work with. I think if you're going to work with Autosetup, I would do a lot of planning to see what works, what doesn't work. So I'll have characters kind of interact with props. Very basic. I don't need to build the whole thing. I just need to build some kind of collision or kind of a dummy to work with. And then I'm going to basically do all my setup. And then once I bring in the animations, which all I do is, at this point, I'm just going to be honest, this new system I'm working with, I just bring in the character and assign it the same skeleton as my main character, and then I just delete that character once I have the animation. How do you get the spatial references that between objects or points, though? Everything is in centimeters. So I think, a good example is, I kind of pay attention to the grid. So this is in centimeters. Think in metric. If you're used to the imperial system, think in metric when you're making films or when you're animating, because iClone and Unreal and Blender have in metric. So I kind of pay attention to my coordinates here, because when I do an FBX, it's 1-to-1. Yeah, it works with metric. It's based in centimeters. So how do I get spatial references? Yeah, like I said, I kind of pay attention to. I pay attention to this. Not only that, but sometimes like when two characters are fighting, or I actually did a scene where two characters are kissing. That one was a little tough. I had to make sure everything was right. It takes a lot of planning. Like I said, I just pay attention to my coordinates and see what works. That's why I kind of build little basic sets. I don't need to be fancy. But no, it's just I just kind of use the grid and think in metric. I don't have any. I don't really have much, honestly. Like if you need to pick something up off the table. So that one here, it's a little tough to do. I've done it before, like, what was the production where I had to, like, have characters lift certain things? I think it was Endgame. What I did with Endgame was, I kind of, like I said, I bring it in the table. So I take I export the table as an FBX. bring it into iClone, and then I would basically set it down. That was a tough one to do. So I set the object, make sure it's in the right place. So I kind of set up like a dummy object. So I create like a little dummy of the object here, so I know where it is. It's like a little mark where I set the object down and I pick it up. So when they pick it up, and I kind of do the same thing when I bring it back. It's difficult for me to explain, but I kind of attach an object down there, and I kind of make like a little basic shape or something. It's like a little dummy, like a circle or something. It's like a marker. I've done it before with Endgame, where characters are picking up certain things or picking up guns. It's tough to do, but then you would have to link it, which that would be kind of a pain in the butt. Most times I cheat. Like sometimes if it's too time consuming, I just cheat. I would have them pick up the object, or I would have them hold it. Let's see. The next set here actually did make. I kind of built a lot of neon stuff. Like, yep, that's my test scene. Did I have a scene somewhere? So if we go to here. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to build this thing. A little glow here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to build that. It'd be cool if you bring in a block version of the environment. Yeah, I'll probably, like, when I make a production, maybe when I'm making Red Strike, I'll kind of show it. A lot of it's pretty simple. In fact, I think I have Harley Quinn somewhere. Let me go find her. Like, for her, it's just the only thing that I need to have her interact with is basically the table. So, like, make sure that she's not, like, going through the table. So let me load it up in iClone. Not gonna save that. Let's see here. I think I have Harley somewhere. I think it's under Harley test, that's what I call it. So a lot of my stuff is just fairly basic, unless, like, this is a pretty simple approach. I think I would just have her interact with the table, like, I have it around here too. Let's load it up. And it doesn't have to be textured, doesn't need to be anything, I don't texture it. It's night and day. Yeah, let's look. So yeah, basically I just kind of have her sit in the chair. Like I said, if there's stuff poking through, yeah, I can look at it. You have it on your YouTube channel? Yeah, I can. Alright, let's have a look here. But yeah, basically, yeah, the lighting. I don't really care about lighting right now. I don't do my lighting in iClone or anything. But yeah, I can look at it if you have it up somewhere. Let's have a look here. On a different channel. Okay. But yeah, basically this is my little moment here. Most times I would just kind of put in basic stuff like basic building blocks, or I would make, I would make a basic primitive shape. As long as I know, like, it's in millimeters, or, sorry, centimeters, I can just go up and down here, up, down. Hi there, man. And just kind of have characters interact with it. Thinking metric. Thinking metric. It's going to be a lifesaver. I model in metric. I make films in metric. I don't do I don't do I clones in centimeters in default. So once you play around, so I kind of pay attention where my origin is. And sometimes you can actually, what you can do is, this gets a little crazy, you can actually make a little rut. So you can make a box and then you have characters aligned to it, and you could probably bring it in all at once, but I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see here. So for her, I was trying to find a couple of things. Let's see. Do I have my? Let's have a look here at my settings here. Make sure everything's right. And test out lighting. I'll leave that alone. Nope. Let's see. In fact, actually, let's see if I can cover some lighting basics or something. If anyone has any films, if I can look at a film or something if you need me to. Let's see. In fact, I'll probably look at some of my older stuff. Here, yeah, let me look at a few things here. Let's bash some of my old works. Yeah, let's bash some of my old works. That'll be fun. 501. Thank you. Yay. Let's see. Let's go with my that wouldn't be fair because it's my first major work in Unreal. Yeah, let's go through it. Why not? Where are you going? Fly in the dark, that's it. Let's go on a little field trip here. Okay, so this one, the major mistake I made with this, there's a couple ones here. One, I wasn't too happy with the characters. One, I didn't have soft cloth because I just couldn't get working right. I found out later. Let's see here. It kind of feels lifeless, I guess. There isn't much compared to from this to this. There isn't much life in it, I think. And you'll start seeing it with much more, that's when I start getting a little more comfortable with the lighting. So my first work, compared the two. Doesn't really stand out very much too. Compared to this, I didn't play around with depth of field. The character, you want your character, say, being a couple steps higher than the background, in these kind of scenarios. So let's go to another production. I'm going to show off another thing. This one was for Unreal 4. Yeah, the eyes are a lot better now because it was more of I was trying to experiment with shaders, and I kind of realized a couple of things. One is shaders, the eye shaders, and I didn't set up the eye occlusion right, and not only that, but also how I think there's a couple of things I've done wrong. I didn't set up the cellular brightness. I didn't fix that. So it's the same eyes basically, but I didn't set up my shaders right at the time. I didn't know how to do that, but now I do with this, and not only that, but it's a lot easier with 5 now. So let's use another scene here. I'll kind of go through it. This one is in 4. This is the same production that's going to be in 5. And I'll actually let me explain how I do this scene. So let me go find it here. Let's put it in 4K or 1080. Let's compare this to this. Oh, I think Unreal 5 is pretty powerful. I would try it on Omniverse if you're looking into quicker production. Sorry. So this thing, some people have seen this shot before. Oops, sorry. This was done on Unreal 4. So what I did was I created this one. I had to be really careful about the lighting on this one. So I had 2 strong rectangular lights here and here, and they were kind of strong. I wanted to kind of like I said, I wanted to create a shadow without like hiding certain features from his face. So I had 2 strong point lights, and then I have basically a small fill, but I also kind of pay attention to the attenuation radius. And say for this one here and here, what I want to do is, obviously the guy's a bad guy. I want to portray like a mysterious figure, like he's up to no good. And the thing, it's kind of a joke where she just jumps into it, and one person's like, "Yeah, I don't even know his name." She just responds, "Yeah, I don't even know who this person is." Yeah, this was kind of a test here, and she's drunk. But it's just like I said, I kind of shined a little point light into her, a little rectangular light here. And back, it kind of simulates here, so I kind of watch where the light sources are. That's kind of a thing. Like I just like, it's always weird that I see point lights when there's no lamps or something. When people just point lights out of the middle of nowhere, and it's so easy to see. Like there's no lamp, or there's no like street light or something. It looks weird when I see that, and I see that often with iClone work. That if people put point lights in, it's just it's like an apparition light, I guess. There's like a big giant bright ball, but there's no light source or something. So that's what I think when I build a set. I have to think where light sources are, and I have to think where my lights are. I have to think what works for the lights, where my light can be. Sometimes I'll have like fire, or if I can have I just play around with it. That's how I kind of light. I can't describe, or I can't teach it very well, I guess, but I always think where light sources are, and I kind of use it to my best effect. And that's where I start putting point lights and spotlights in. Or if I put like little lamps, I would definitely have that, but also I would have a fill or something, because it seems a little weird. Like there's one production of mine, and I'm just going to go down here. And this one I had to be kind of careful of. So stuff like this. Let's go through this quickly. Basic directional light. Lighting is, this one I didn't do much, but let's go here. Where do you get your voice actors for your films? I actually do a lot of network casting, or like I kind of cast. There's sites like Casting Call Club that can help you. There's some people who go to 5R, but to be honest with you, I don't like it very much. There's numerous reasons why I don't trust 5R. It's not the people or anything like that. It's just the system. I think it encourages a race down to the bottom, and I don't like it very much. So I like to treat casting, when I cast voice actors and voice actresses, I like to pay fair, and I like to kind of cut the middleman out. So most of the times I don't like. I'll kind of go through Twitter or a few other places, a lot of social media sites. There's communities out there, and the voice actress, I'm not sure. Like the one who's voicing Red Strike is she has some major roles recently, and she's amazing in it. Let's see. I'll probably provide a link to Casting Call Club eventually. I have to do a series on casting voice talent. How much for voices for a short film approximately? Oh, that's a great guide actually. Let me bring it up here. You don't have to do GVA rates. There's a great site that actually has that here for you. Let me pull it up quickly. It depends. Most of the time I set a minimum. Harley, I think I'm paying someone $30 or 25 to 30. It depends on. I still kind of negotiating a little bit, but I like to set up, like, there's a minimum. Sometimes they'll do 30 to 50. It depends on the talents. Sometimes be 10, 15. It depends. Here's an indie rate guide here. That's per hour. If there's like commercial releases, yeah, 25 to 50 is the suggested minimum. Oh yeah, totally worth it. I think casting wise, it's definitely for the talent. I've like, let's see, for one production I spent. Let's see, how much did I pay Vimeo? Let's see, there's one role I paid about 200. Around there, I think. Don't think it was Red Strike, no. I'll have to go back and forth and see how much I paid. It was a major project I paid someone $250 for. But I think it was a huge bargain given the number of lines they had to do. And it's an upcoming project. Let's see how much. It kind of depends. Harley is 25, I believe. I'll probably do 30, depending on how well they do. So she'll only have maybe a couple of lines or so, and that's kind of a set minimum. An important thing is to always have a service contract. So especially if you're going commercial, always write a service contract. Get an attorney to write one, or you can write one yourself. But I had an attorney write mine. Now it's like 9 pages long. It just makes things a lot easier, and it's also like, hey, I'll give you. It just basically says, I pay you. You do my work. You do the voices. I pay you. This is what happens, and there's a huge outline, and it's just random. Even it even covers like random acts of God or something like that. Interesting. It's kind of. I always have it with me. Let's see. I found the rates here for you. I would take a look at it. Great reference. So yeah, before I was forgetting, 2 lights here, one here, and then I created a little spotlight. If we're publishing, is that considered commercial? Not really, no. I wouldn't do GVAA rates or anything like that, not like 1500 or something. I don't know how much, like, for YouTube. It depends, like, if you're... you could do lower tier. You guess. 20 to 50 minimum, $1 to $2 a line. I do 2 to 3. I do $2 to $3 a line on a project, on average. Reason why is it kind of builds better. I think it just builds better connections and networking. Like, you want to have a good name, I think. So, right through here, line, then she has made a mistake with this one. Render after DOF. That translucency bug. It's right there. It happens a lot. That translucency bug always gets me. And you'll see it with the eyes too. Sometimes you'll see the translucency bug there. Which I kind of covered through in an earlier video. Let's see if there's any other short works in Unreal I've done. I'll probably point out lighting. Or maybe some filmmaking ideas for anybody who wants to know. Yeah, this one will be 5. Ultra Dynamic Skies in Unreal 5 now, which is really nice. Let's see, Comet. Comet's okay, I guess. I'll probably explain Comet. Yeah, let's explain the lighting for this one. Some of it's a hit and miss. A lot of noir lighting, I think. This, for the truck here, is pretty simple what I did with the truck. Kind of replicated those old monster movies, which had low-key lighting. So I attached 2 spotlights in front of the car because there's no lumen effects, but that's all I did. Just attach 2 spotlights. Use the moon light mostly. Actually, I like this effect here. Kind of covers her face, and then the light, and then kind of shines. I think I kind of do a little spotlight here. This was kind of a rushed production, honestly, but one thing I wish I'd done, like Lumen would have baked the lighting a little bit easier. Would have looked a lot better. Especially, I probably would have done like a little glow thing here, a little point light, parameter, power, or sorry, parameter. Would have fixed a couple bugs, but what can you do? Let's see here. Comet. Simple lighting. I have to finish that film. Anyway, let's see. What can I do for lighting here? If anyone has any questions, like, let's see. Kind of covered set design in my last video. All this stuff was done for free using Megascans. Which you can, actually, yeah, everything you can download here with Megascans. The point was I was trying to bring up that you can actually make a film for free. That you don't have to spend a lot of money on iClone content. I think it's pretty suitable for characters and character design, but I just don't get like people like buying a huge amount of iClone props and then bring it into Unreal. It just doesn't make sense. And a lot of content, people like Dexsoft have stuff on Unreal that usually has a sale. So if you're looking into that. Otherwise, you can do Megascans. There is one product that I strongly recommend if you're looking into a city, mind you. This is pricey. This is a very pricey plugin, but I'll show you here. Ooh. I'll update that. This here. It just got support for Unreal 5. Let me go link this up for you. I think it's worth it. Now keep in mind, the price is quite expensive. I think it's $200, but it's worth it because building a city can be kind of a pain. Now you have like the matrix sets and everything, but this thing is procedural. So what I can do is I can set up a blueprint make it, and then I can have a city. I can set up like street lights and everything. But you know, they have the matrix set. But I think this is just, you know, there's a lot more customization, and I can make stuff. I can make a whole city block in an hour. I recommend that one. Downtown City Pack Polysphere Studio, if you're looking into that. Pretty good for like New York City sets. So I built that. I recommend it. That's really like certain sets like I can't get anywhere in Megascans. Brushify, I recommend. Ultra Dynamic Sky, I recommend. Brushify has great sets. I was building a Western prop set. I don't know if I deleted it or not, but well, let's see. Yeah, this stuff was this was all Megascan stuff. The only thing that wasn't from Megascans was Harley and the camera. That's it. Even the little light bulb. Like I made this when I made this set the other day. I basically took a cylinder, attached a glow map, and that was my light bulb. So, let's see here. But if anyone has any questions, anything with Unreal, yeah, just let me know. It's kind of a last call. I'll probably be going pretty soon. I got a couple things to take care of around 9 o'clock. So, yeah, it's kind of a last call for questions. Yeah, and she looks a lot better when you render it. Like, it just kind of like the HDR. When I put on an HDR monitor and like I kind of do a lot of color correcting, it looks amazing, especially on a on a 4K set. Like I rendered it in 4K and just it's just so much fun. I can't wait to release it. Hopefully, oh yeah, I should actually do like a review on Kit Bash sets. I've done one in that one, like Kit Bash. I should do something on Kit Bash. I've been asked about Kit Bash a couple of times, and yeah, that's like a whole video on Kit Bash. Oh, no problem. I got asked about Kit Bash sets a lot, and I have a few myself. I'm just gonna say it involves a lot of work and a lot of tweaking. Not perfect, but in fact, actually, I'll probably have it somewhere. I can give you a little preview if I have it somewhere. I think this one has Kit Bash. Let me see. Does that elevator thing work? Where's my elevator? I have a lot of free stuff. Nope. I would take a demo scene with Bakelane, then totally redo it. Well, actually, I don't know what you mean by like demo scenes, like the Matrix demo, or do you want to play around with kind of scene? Oh, I think I deleted it. Nope. Yeah, it would be kind of tough to do. Like I would most of the time I would just kind of build, like when I build a set, I make my own lighting from scratch. Like it kind of depends on the scene, I guess, on what I want to do with it, how I want to portray it, what colors I would use, like who I would illuminate, which character works best. What is that elevator set? So this one will have this one that I used to had baked lighting. Ah, yeah. Is that an iClone or Unreal? Because iClone will have I've seen some sets. I'm just wondering if that's iClone or Unreal. forgot the name. Oh. I'll probably find it. Let's see. Oh. Man, it's taking a long time. Oh. A couple of things I would do when I build outdoor scenes in Unreal. I gotta use ultra dynamic skies. Just kind of provide it base, and I would use diffuse lights. Nothing too fancy. What's this? Oh, I think I deleted it. Oh, it has to do that shader thing. Crap. Between that and Harley, it's going to cause... Uh-oh. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I'll probably just delete that. Oh, Suburban Neighbor House Pack. I don't think I have that one, but... I don't think I do. Well, let me go see if I can make a new scene here. Just a few minutes here. How would I film the scene? Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, what's that ultra dynamic sky to Harley? Why not? Oops. There's a couple of ways of doing exterior lighting. There's a couple of channels that cover it pretty well. There's one guy who does it way better than I do. Uh-oh. A demo map. I don't know. Don't really do much demo maps. I can't build my stuff up here. The difference, that is night and day difference between lighting, looking at it. Yeah, let's just make a new set. Don't save it. So I like to, this blueprint here is called like Ultra Dynamic Sky. I personally like it. It's one of my favorite plugins. So it's just going to prepare shaders for you. So I'm also just going to create a basic landscape, nothing out of the ordinary. Oops, sorry, landscape mode. It still gets me. Alright, create that. Slide. Oh man. Alright, let's go back to select mode. And let's just bring in Harley. Okay. Okay, I guess. Yeah, so first thing I have to do under Ultra Dynamic Sky is I like to do something called Simulate Real Sun. And with the Ultra Dynamic Sky, I can actually adjust my time, so it'll be 750. but just for sake, we'll just put it at 12. And you can tell that there's a little bit of harsh shadows. So when I make my character, or when I get my lighting set up, as I mentioned, kind of a fill light, so I'd like to do a spotlight or a rectangular light here. And I just kind of move it here. And this is basically what I just kind of do. So I add just a little bit here, or just a little bit here, and then I add just I don't even add white light, I just kind of add more yellowish. Not too much, but it's just there, kind of make the light a little more even, I guess. So I have point light, and then if I need to add anything dramatic, or if the character's facing the sun, just something like this. Nothing too fancy. Kind of like a strobe light. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much that. So if I have my keys, kind of pay attention where the sun is. So pretty much. Yeah. That's how I kind of get rid of the harsh shadows, and then kind of connect them a bit, or kind of connect the lights if I have to move them around. But most times, you know. And let's get just a regular actor. All right, let's go use my special anamorphic lens camera. That. Yeah, kind of just kills the shadow. Yeah, that way. Yeah. Otherwise, just fix the intensity. Yeah. You see that right there? That's the eyes. That's what I'm talking about, the little eye effect. I think that's the tear line, or is that the eye? So I'll have to fix that. Let's go with the 30mm. I have to get better at that. Yeah. For you. Yeah, I gotta go fix her character. Where's my is it tear line? tear line. That's the one that's causing me trouble. It's under translucency, I think. It's this little guy. Can't compare it to something else in the environment. Yeah. Let's fix that there. There we go. Should fix that problem. I can't compare it to something else in the environment. Yeah. Let's see. I would have to build the city and kind of get everything under control. Kind of play around with it a little more. Most times for like outdoor scenes, I would probably just kind of rely on directional and spotlight. Spotlight, spot point for fill. I don't know, it gets a little frustrating. Yeah. Something like I struggle with balancing exposure with actor. And yeah, it's kind of a challenge. In red, I don't know, I just have to plan it out pretty much. Like when I make, can't really do it last. Like if I kind of improv it, then it gets really screwed up. I have to have it planned out in my head. I have to have a scene in my head and work with it. So if like I said, the demo scene, I have to kind of find out what the scene's about. How can I use it? How can I bring the character in? How can I light? And sometimes it takes a couple of attempts for me to get it right. Harley, there's something like the scene where she's kind of the earlier scene here. Let's see if the light works first. Let's see. Not the light, but my translucency. There you go. So the translucency is fixed. I would just, yeah, I would fix the exposure. I would fix the lighting a little bit. I have to know. I have to go back to it. Film outdoor scenes, kind of get an idea. Okay, I'll have a look at it when you're ready. No. Let's get rid of this world. Compared to like something like this, I have it planned out. But yeah, we'll see. I have to check. But I think I'm gonna head on out. So yeah, just let me know what the short is, or if you can, I don't know, find a way. How would I wish there was like a private messaging feature or something. I'll tell you what. Yeah. Just go to my yeah, tell you. You can do this. Does that link show? No, I don't think so. But you can contact me through here if you want to see it. Just basically to show me what the email or what the thing was, and I can have a look at it. I don't think it'll go through if you're really kind of worried about it. This is a private thing, so It'll go directly to my website. I mean, it's a contact me. I'll have a look at it. So hopefully, I'll have a look at it, give some notes. Yeah, just a basic contact me. I'm just trying to think like ways of messaging me. Okay. Yeah, that should do. But yeah, just let me know. I'll let you know what I think of it and see what if you want me to do it right now. Do you want me to look at it right now and give you a message, or right now, or what do you think? Let's have a look here. Okay, you have shaky cam. Let's have a look here. That's not too bad. A couple of things. Uh-oh. Someone's getting on me. Alright. Did you film it on Omniverse or Unreal? First 38 seconds, and the rest is an Omniverse. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can tell. So I had basically. All right. Let's go through it. To the boy in the walk, but it was all shaky. Yeah, it's kind of tough to do. Like bringing the two characters together. Oh, that would be tough. All right. Yeah, if it doesn't work, usually I would kind of hide it, especially like sometimes I wouldn't. If it didn't work, I would just kind of abandon it and have them talk as the hovering hand thing. But let's see. All right, let's make some notes here. Okay, let me show you. Alright, so this is your work here. Oops. Yeah. There's a couple things too, yeah. I have like a little spotlight here. Just kind of follow them. Okay. Especially the car, what I would do is I would like add a little rectangular light, just as like a key and fill. Especially from the windows, to give a little light here. No, it's not terrible. It's not. Let me see if, like, you don't want to see my first work in iClone 10 years ago. Or 12 years ago, actually. Now, there's a couple of things I do want to say when it comes to animation. One is the eyeballs. And this is kind of tough to do. I'm not sure. I think Omniverse plays the same rules under Unreal. So what Omniverse, like whatever it is, if you're doing FBX or ABC or whatever, the eyeballs move before the head turns, because that's kind of like how we are. Like if I think it goes all the way back if we're looking for saber-toothed cats, like hiding in the darkness. So we always our eyes move before our head moves. It's tough to do a turnaround. It really is. Like the first when I do like when I teach animation exercises, the first thing I tell people is like, "Oh, cat! Nope, my cat bit me." Oof. I think he wants to. He needs attention. Sorry. Anyways, basically the first thing like I would do is like a head turn. And when it comes down to it, let's just bring in. I'm gonna bring in a quick character into Unreal, into iClone here and show you. So let's find a head turning animation. Sorry. You little troublemaker, you. Okay, guessing going through. Arcs. A couple things is arcs. There's if there's something to pay attention to, it's called the 12 Principles of Animation. So a couple of important ones is called Ease In, Ease Out. Actually, I'll provide a link here for the Disney's 12 Principles of Animation. There's a great video on it. I mean, there's a great, yeah, this is absolutely something to recommend. A few things I tell them is like, can you have someone turn their head? And the second thing is, can you do a bouncing ball? And that's the first thing I would teach people. Can you do a bouncing ball? And can you have someone turn their head around? Because the head is anticipation. You can do arcs and then ease in, ease out. So when it comes to that, so the first thing I would do is like the eyeball. So maybe she'll kind of turn the eyeball. Not that, but he's kind of looking down. Maybe like where is he looking up? Where is he looking at? And the eyes are the most important thing in animation. Where is your eyes headed? So when I go to like. She's kind of staring off into space. Like, is she looking down at? Where is she looking at? Where is her attention? Oh, there. Like, where is his focus? And not only that, but always character, like also a character always has an animation idle. They don't just freeze. There's always some kind of movement. So lighting, yeah, would kind of focus. It's kind of hard to do, I guess. A little more fill, I guess. The indoor scenes are not too bad. And also, like, here's another one I just noticed. I can't go into detail here. Okay. There we go. Oh, yeah, this one works pretty well. I mean, you should see, like, my first animation, it's pretty bad. So let's see here. Oh, you bit spot. Do you have did you pre-purchase iClone 8 by any chance? Or there's gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be a lot more easier to work with, from what I heard. I mean, there's a lot more tools for smoother animation. So let's go to the head turning. So let's bring in an example here. This is going to be a very rough version. It's one of those that you can take as much time as you can. Yeah, let's go with Mike. Oh, it comes with free iClone 8 upgrade. Okay. Yeah, they have the curve editor for free, and I think that's a lifesaver. Alright, let's have them. Now, this might take me an hour to do. Let's see. So the first mistake when it comes to people making head turning animations is they go one direction. And it kind of feels robotic. The most important thing is, like, your characters, if you want to, like, humans don't like to bend that way. Our necks don't like that. So, the first thing I do is I like to keep this, but I also change the torso. So my torso will move. It's getting there, but it's not quite. So I'm going to actually change the head, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to maybe go up a little bit here. And I'm going to kind of bring everything down here. By giving it an arc here. So you can tell, like, how much improvement just by giving a little, like a little arc, like a coil. It's sort of like that. It's bending in an arc. When you give an arc here, it kind of, we don't do straight lines very well. We kind of sort of do little arcs here. So maybe it's not as exaggerated as that. So maybe I'll just bring it up here. And another thing is, like, our heads don't snap that way because it hurts. Like, I can't do that. Like, so there has to be an ease in, ease out. So let's go to our character, and let's go to the curve editor. And when you get iClone 8, pay attention to this, because this will give you some of the best. This will give you some of the best animation. I mean, makes things a lot easier for you. So I want to smoothen it just a little bit here. Let's go chest. most important thing is you want to do an ease out. I kind of make small adjustments here. But you can tell it's already looking a lot more realistic. But there's one more thing, and that's the eyes. And this is where it'll start looking a lot more lifelike. So there's two layers to this. First, we're going to go with the eyeballs. So let's just go to eyes. Yes. Record. And go. I would definitely learn the curve editor, like how it works. But you can tell there's a lot more life to it when you do it, and it just takes a little bit of curve, ease in, ease out. But there's a second layer to it. I call it point A to point B. Let's say he turns around, and what's his reaction? It's like a storytelling principle. So we're going to go here, and then maybe what does he see? Does he see surprise? Does he see shock? What? Fear? Let's go surprise. Wings down, and maybe there's a smile. And that's it. That's really kind of the basic. Like, if there's one thing I was told I was probably one of the best at, it's facial expressions. I'm really good at giving lifelike expressions to characters. And it's just little things like this. Subtlety, how to play around with it. So let's just do an ease out on that. That's kind of like my storytelling. If there's something that they see, if there's surprises, that. Like, this is something you don't really see with much eye cloners. Like, they don't, like, there's kind of a lack of facial expressions or the storytelling with the faces. And that's alright. I mean, this is something I just started using. Like, I'm started taking more pay attention to. I've always started, like, I believed in facial expressions for going on 12 years. I've been working with this program for nearly 12 years now. And I always believed that facial expressions always told a story. I heavily relied on them. I started to kind of apply more curve editor, like more anticipation to 12 principles later, but it's always the facial expressions. And that's probably the most important thing about animation in general. If you can't pull off good facial expressions, and not only that, but also let's go into another point, and probably maybe a lesson or anything in iClone related, is that this comes from the late actor Scott Wilson, who was Herschel in Walking Dead. The guy who wrote the Animator Survival Kit, which I recommend if you want to learn how to animate better. It's mostly 2D principles, but there's 3D. It applies to 3D just the same. There used to be classes that was taught by the old Disney animators from the 30s and the 40s and 50s. And Scott Wilson, the actor, kind of stumbled and realized, oh, this is like acting, when he was kind of learning it. And that's how I kind of approach my animation with iClone. So when characters talk, like, I wish I had mocap, because I'm a physical actor. I like to act with the face. I like to kind of get a conversation going. I like to act with my hands before I start animating. I like to know how my actors are feeling, what body language to play with. So, like, when there's it's easy to have a character flail their arms around, and we see this a lot. Especially, I would definitely animate with hands. And I started to experiment with Glycon 3D. I'll be working with it more once I get iClone 8. It's basically a 3D mocap studio, a VR mocap thing with Oculus Quest 2. I don't have trackers, but it also has hands. He started doing hands lately. But I kind of think, how does my actor work? Or, you see he's kind of sitting there. Yeah, the head would go first. Or, sorry, the body, head. It's kind of a secondary thing. So I would kind of approach, how... I would definitely use the facial expressions. Or, sorry, play around with facial expressions. Maybe I'll have them look down and up. Let's see if I can find some examples. How do you think animate the kitchen scene? It'd be kind of tough, but I would what I normally do, a very quick process, is I would kind of take conversation scenes. So if I do, let's use Mike as another example. So this is usually my standby, Mixed Moves Communication Pack. Sometimes I use Spunky Moves. For Harley Quinn, I use Spunky Moves. So if I do something like this, I kind of matches, I would kind of scrub through a timeline. I have a ton of these effects, a ton of these. And mocap is usually over-exaggerated on purpose, because you can just scrub through the timeline. What I would do, let's say break, is that I would kind of extend it. And not only that, but I would also use the edit motion layer. I would kind of move it up and down, especially if there's mistakes, and then I would use curve editor to clean it up. So for conversation scenes, so I kind of know these things by heart. I know each animation by heart, so I would know, this, if he's having an angry reaction or something, I know how to animate. Or if I have to hand animate it, I would put an idle animation. It could take a few hours to do, it depends. Maybe I would spend a day just to experiment. You don't need to hand animate it. You can do a bunch of mocap, I think, at Real Illusion, but it tends to be over exaggerated, but the point is to actually kind of edit it. Especially with the hands, I think. I know that probably, if I had the money, actually, you know what? I don't even need, I would get, maybe, smart gloves or something, but You don't really need to actually. No, 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 no. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to my mocap thing. There's actually a better thing. It's called hand gestures. So, watch this. So hands are kind of a very unknown thing. Like, nobody pays attention to hand animation. But there's a little Python plug. Just look up hand gestures puppeteering tool. I don't know if they'll have this in iClone 8, but I wish they do. But you can actually animate the hands. Works pretty well. I don't know, it just takes some time. But yep, that's a plugin. I think it's free. It's free, I think. But no, yeah, it takes it kind of depends on what scene. If there's a fight scene or simple conversation scenes, I just kind of use mixed motion moves. I kind of get the idea of how a character's feeling, and then I would kind of move the head up or down, or I would kind of have them hunch over. I kind of look at references. Let's see. Do I have the monologue? Like this scene here. This is Unreal 5. I don't think this thing took me very long, but face was mo-capped. And we're tied behind the scenes with one back here. Just kind of let the face do the talking. Kind of adjusted, like when my character was shaking up and down, I kind of adjust the head rotation. That moment. Are you contracted to do those films? Nope, this is my own work. Lately, I've been kind of doing my own thing. Lately, I'm probably going to be looking into doing an Unreal grant for one production. We'll see how it goes. Let's see if I have another one. But you have commercial background. Somewhat. Once in a while. Not as much work lately. I have a film school background. I have done trailers before. I've done some professional work, like on the side. You know, for like book trailers and random stuff like that. It's an interesting market. Did a few explainers. That's about it. Where's my render? No, that's not it. Most times I just kind of learn to make films myself. I kind of learning how to work, how the Unreal Engine works, how to film. It's just mostly for fun, I guess. A lot of it, there's some freelance work on the side, but most times I like to do stuff myself. I like to make my own little films, and maybe this will be like a full-time job. We'll see. Where's Harley? Aye, this was Harley. So I just like the little thing. If there's a little motion or something that matches it, I just gotta find. Where did it go? I had. Let me check. I have more video footage of this. What you can do. Alright. No problem. If I have any notes, I'll give you some emails. I'll let you know. It was fun. No problem. Hopefully everything goes well. I'll have to find out. I have to find that scene here. Where was it? Nope. There's that scene here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go. So hopefully everyone enjoys it. I'll have a look here. Probably do more. I'll actually have to animate her character in iClone in the next couple of days. I'll kind of go through my process too. Probably do some animation work on that. So hopefully this will help. I think I'm going to call it good and call it a night. So, see ya.